Hi everybody, and welcome to this tutorial where we're going to render in pen and ink. Well, a fineliner by Staedtler actually, and I'm going to use the 0.05, so it's a very tiny tip. And what I also was doing is trying this out on black paper with a white gel pen, but I really have to study this more, so I will be back with you with this in the autumn, I think. And for this tutorial we are going to draw on plain white paper, and for the setup I will be using an HB graphite pencil to get started. And of course you can also watch this tutorial in real time on my Patreon page. Now, as I was saying, the first setup I will do with an HB graphite pencil, because I need a little bit of help once I start hitting that paper with the ink. Ink is inerasable, so I need a little bit of helper lines here. So I'm drawing in the left side where the rock is with the tree, which is the mid part of this drawing, and then here on the right side is the part that is closest to us. So I need to get those contours in there too, and all the way in the back there will be a line of trees for the background. Now here it is, my Staedtler fineliner, and what I'm actually doing is I just start rendering by hatching and cross hatching, and in that way getting the values of gray by going over and over, sparing white out, and hatching for darker parts that are in the shadow. And actually I draw like I would when I was drawing with graphite pencils, but ink can be so amazing to draw with. It is making your hand more secure, and well, because it's not erasable, you just have to plunge in there. Just do it, and when you mess it up, don't bother it with it. Just take a new sheet and start again. Oh, hi cat. Now for the tree parts I'm using organic lines as much as I can. So my pen goes from left to right, from vertical to horizontal, and I just simply try to get some leaf parts and shadows underneath those leaf areas, and in that way creating the mid party of my drawing. When I need it to be darker, I simply start cross hatching over those parts that need a little bit more darkness. Now here is the part where the rocks are coming from, and I'm drawing in roots over those rocks simply by sparing out little light lines that should well, give the impression that roots are going over these rocks. And what I also have to make sure is that I stop at the part where the mist begins. So that is why I've drawn in those graphite lines, so I know where to stop drawing that rock party. Now, as you can see, for the rocks I use mostly vertical lines, but also rounded lines for, as you can see here, they're a bit rounded, so I get some, oh hi Mercy, welcome to meet my new cat Mercy. She is only 12 weeks old, and my cat my Siamese cat shampoo dyed. And Mercy is, well, she's not replacing her, of course, but she is already becoming a fan of my drawing, and she's only been with me for a week. And she's knocking to the camera now, and well, I'm so happy to have her to take the pain away for losing my dear Siamese cat. Well, here I'm putting in a little bit of detail for that tree, and this is Mercy again. She's so lovely. And this is the part of the trees that is way in the back. Now you will see me doing something completely different here. For this area I will only use vertical lines, and I need to make sure that those lines stop or start, whatever you want, for the top line of my waterfall, and I need that to be left white. And there are two levels of this waterfall. You can see it created here, and this is the well, these are the contours of the trees that are way in the back. So I'm creating a little bit of atmospheric perspective here, and by drawing in those lines all vertical, they appear to be farther away from us. So that's a very nice tip. Now for the water itself that is falling down, I also use vertical lines only. And also here I need to stop at the part that is going to be missed. And I also draw in some rocks that come through the water. And then I start with the right side of the part that is closest to us. Now this needs to be very dark, but also it has to have some more detail. So I draw in the structure of the wood, of the, I'm not sure how you call that in English, but it's the tree trunk with all that structure, and then I simply cross hatch in it to give it that dark gray value. What I also do is I put in a little branch, and I even draw in leaves, so you can see each leaf on those branches, and in that way the tree in front will appear to be closest to us. And for the rocky ground that is underneath that tree, I also use a lot of hatching and cross hatching. So I'm using vertical lines but also horizontal lines to get a feel of planes and rocks and well, levels. And also here I need to stop at the part where my clouds of mist start. Now I simply draw in some tiny vertical lines, and then I start with the water part that is now flat. So this is at the bottom of our waterfall, and here I'm only using horizontal lines. By doing this, the water seems to be coming towards us, and also it appears to be flat, but well, it is moving. So I draw in all horizontal lines, but with a little bit of detail, like perspective coming towards us. Here you can see me making that right part even darker. So this is coming towards us now. And I simply go in there with that ink again and draw in some very fine detail of some leaves and branches. And once I've done that, I can see that the tree in the mid part of the drawing needs a little bit more shadow, and the part in the waterfall itself can use some values, darker values. And the right top, where you look up into the tree, I simply cross hatch to get a shadow going there. So in this way I just tune my values of gray. Now I already did that left drawing there, and it's just fun to make a drawing and then start doing it over. And I think the left rock parts is a little bit better than in my first try, and there are some parts in the left drawing that I like better than in the right side. And well, it's a learning process and it's very nice to do. Now what is also very nice is to get back to that HB pencil again. It's the graphite pencil, and then start drawing a little bit of shadow that is on the bottom side of the clouds of mist that are created by the water falling down. I've also put in a little bit of HB in the waterfall itself at the lower part. And then I take my blender stick and I rub out the lines of that graphite pencil. Now this gives an amazingly soft effect, and it works so nice together with the ink. I also put in a little bit of shadow underneath those misty clouds, and that gives a great feel of 3D and a great feel of that mist dwelling up, and the waterfall that has that shadow on the lower part. And I also apply it a little bit just above the waterfall for the part that is way in the back. I love drawing with ink now and then, and it's a great way to trigger your mind again. And it's also been very hot in the Netherlands the last days, so pen and ink was my best option for my sweaty hands. And so I was still able to keep drawing, and I hope it will rain soon, so maybe that's why I'm drawing a lot of water the last tutorials. So here adding some last detail with the HB, and here some little bit of darkness here on the left side. And then I will leave it all up to you, and I sure hope you will give this a try. Well, if you like this tutorial, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. Also check out my Patreon page if you want more tips and prints and real-time recordings. Well, I will see you again next Friday. Take care and bye bye.